I've been using these inexpensive DMX flame machines for some of our backyard and personal shows for a couple of years now. And recently I set this up here to run some tests where I drained 4 cans of fluid to see how long a can of fluid would last at different flame durations, and also to see what type of flame height a can could sustain. And with more and more systems integrating DMX, I thought I'd share some of the information from this test. You'll see I ran tests at 2 different flame durations, and I used 2 different types of fluid, as shown here. It turns out they're both manufactured in the same place, but these are both 11-ounce cans. This chart is probably most helpful. This is the number of flames or bursts I got out of a full 11-ounce can. The 2 bars on the left are for 200 millisecond duration flames. And there I got 233 out of one can and 247 out of the other can. So an average of 240, 200 millisecond flames out of a full can. Then the 2 bars on the right are for 100 millisecond flames or 1 second duration flames. And there I got 61 out of one can and 68 out of the other. So an average of 64, 65 full 1 second flames out of a full 11-ounce can. If I take those average data points at 200 milliseconds and a full 1 second duration of flame and assume that there is a linear relationship there, I've drawn this straight line between those points to give an idea of what quantity of bursts you might be able to achieve at different durations. For example, this suggests that at a 600 millisecond duration, you'd get 150 bursts out of a full can. Okay, this chart is kind of interesting. This is summing up the total flame time. And so, for example, on that first bar on the left, we had 233 bursts of flame at 200 millisecond durations. So that's a total of 46,600 milliseconds, which is represented there by the bar. And what this seems to indicate is that you use more fuel with multiple shorter bursts than you do longer bursts. All right, this data is also interesting. This is the flame height over time. And with a fresh can, fully pressurized, the flames are achieving 7 feet from the nozzle. Now this drops down fairly quickly as the pressure reduces in the can, but then stabilizes around 5 feet for the majority of the time. Now you'll see here the green and the yellow plots drop off at around 2 minutes, and that's the 100 millisecond tests. And then the blue and the red run out to 3.5, 4 minutes, as those are the 200 millisecond tests. Now, one thing I wanted to point out real quick is that these inexpensive flame machines performed perfectly. They fired every single command. Not only can you see that at the video here at the end, but while I was editing this, it was very apparent when you looked at the waveform for the audio during the whole recording. For the script, I had 2 channel DMX devices, and so the first 2 were set at channel 1 and channel 2, which was reflected here as 101 and 102 in this script. And they fired every second in a full 255 DMX value for 200 milliseconds. And this then repeated continuously every second. And so we had a whole series of channel 1 and channel 2 commands for 200 milliseconds every second. And I ran this out for a number of minutes, just so that the can could drain. Then for the other two, we set them at channel 11 and 12, which is represented here as 111 and 111 and 112 in this script, for a value of 255 and for 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second. And again, I continued this every 2 seconds and ran this out for a number of minutes. The script is loaded into this field module that's set up as a master module. I'm arming it. We've got the 200 millisecond duration flames on the left 2 units and the 1 second duration on the right. This is what I use to determine the height of the flame. This is scaled to the measured 22-inch height of the machines shown between ground and zero. For most of this will play back at a 4-time playback speed, but I do slow it down to normal speed when I notice that the cans are starting to drain out. Okay, here we have the first can draining. The far right one has gone out here, and we're around 2 minutes into the script as shown on the screen on the module. And now the other 1 second duration flame will go out as well. Okay, we've slowed the playback back to normal, and we'll see that one of the 200 millisecond flames is starting to quit, running out of fuel, and soon the other one will run out of fuel. Okay, well, I hope you found this interesting. There's a lot of discussion on using these inexpensive flame machines. The pros and cons and safety measures of these, I'll save that for another discussion. And I hope some people find this information helpful if they plan on using these machines or other machines that are based off of a 11-ounce can of starting fluid. Regardless of what you do, make sure you understand how to use the systems and you're being safe with them.